hold on a minute. I wasn't expecting this jab that you're taking at my guy, Mr. Kennedy. If you didn't know, President Biden sent out a letter that was just so completely disrespectful, so nasty. President Biden sent a letter out to congressional Democrats, kind of reassuring them that he is, the Democratic nominee, he's staying in the race, and that he believes that he can take on Donald Trump. And in this, you can go ahead and read this for yourself. It's not very long. But he writes, fellow Democrats, now that you have returned from the July 4th recess, I want you to know that despite all speculation in the press and elsewhere, I'm firmly committing to staying in this race, to running this race to the end, and to beating Donald Trump. He even goes on to say that he's had a lot of conversations with the leaders of the party, elected officials, rank and file members, and most importantly, Democratic voters, right? Now, that could be true. Now, where are these people? They're not in the news because, as you've seen over the past couple of days, a ton of top leaders in the Democratic Party are going against Biden, saying that he should just drop the race. New York Times reported it. Boston Globe has reported a ton of mainstream media discussing that President Biden should not be in this race and that Democrats could do better. Here is CNN most recently.
In reality, 72% of voters say that they believe President Biden is too old. That's according to CNN's most recent polling. Voters have been saying this for quite a long time. The reality is that the Democratic elite...
What I think is super interesting is that so many people have been discussing Biden's age for the last, 3.5 years. Right? And everyone was a conspiracy theorist. Everyone was crazy. Everyone was just, it's just a stutter. He's completely okay. And even me, I've given President Biden a lot of grace. I try to show President Biden a lot of respect, more than a ton of other people who do this. But when a significant amount of people are villainized for asking questions, that's where I draw the line, because when a significant amount of people are feeling a certain way, common people, your neighbors, school teachers, when a lot of people start genuinely looking at President Biden, they start wondering, is this the guy who should be holding the highest office in the world? When normal people start looking at that, and the media brushes it off, and they call them conspiracy theorists. We've seen this over the past couple of years. The media has a way of villainizing regular people who just are asking regular questions. And that's not okay. So I'm really happy to see CNN starting to shed a little light in this conversation. And instead of villainizing a group of people, you're actually sympathizing with them. And instead of reducing a conversation, you're actually elevating the conversation. And now this is what journalism is supposed to be, but it's fallen short of that so many times. So today, I'm grateful for this conversation.
Are mostly late to acknowledge these age and ability issues compared to the rest of the public. The elites have been forced to reckon with it after the debate just 11 days ago.
Look at my career. I've not had many of those nights. It was a terrible night, and I really regret it happened. But the fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be on faith that can intervene on your way to go to, work tomorrow?
The fact of the matter is, how can you assure you're going to be out on your way to go, work tomorrow? Age wasn't, the idea that I'm too old. Keep in mind, that soundbite is supposed to be reassuring to those Democratic supporters who have gone wobbly. Many Democratic officials with whom I've spoken are worried that President Biden and his family and his inner circle appear to be in complete denial, not just about whatever might be wrong with him, but the state of his candidacy right now.
But meanwhile, President Biden doesn't budge. He still suggests that he is the 2024 Democratic nominee. He goes on to say this was a process open to anyone who wanted to run. Only 3 people chose to challenge me. One fared so badly that he left the primaries to run as an independent, right? Any guesses who that was? Right? Another attacked me for being too old and was soundly defeated. The voters of the Democratic Party have voted. They have chosen me to be the nominee of the party. Now everyone knows who President Biden was talking about when he said that one fared so badly that he left the primaries to run as an independent. Now Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has not responded to this, but if he did, I imagine he'd say something like, well now, how would I have left the primaries to run as an independent if I established my independence long before the Democratic primaries even took place, because he established his independence sometime in like October of last year, right? And the Democratic primaries happened, it started happening in states in March. I mean, what else did you lie about in this letter, President Biden? Now, RNC Research shared this great video of President Biden at NATO today. Check it out.
For 5 additional strategic air defense systems.
Did you get that? Now, I know that's probably an unfair video to share about President Biden, but I wanted to share that video as a segue to this clip from NBC, where a Parkinson's expert talks about President Biden and his situation. Check it out.
Noticed anything that gives you a red flag as a doctor?
Oh, yeah, I see him 20 times a day in clinic. I mean, it's ironic because he has just such classic features of neurodegeneration. I mean, word finding difficulties, and that's not, oh, I couldn't find the word. That's from degeneration of the word retrieval area.
He's also overcome stuttering, though. Could that be part of that, too?
No, this is not a palatal issue or a speech discrepancy, which is very different from a lemino dysfunction, actual word retrieval, where you pick a similar question or talk around the issue, plus the rigidity, monotone voice.
Wait, go back to that, the rigidity. What do you mean?
Rigidity, loss of arm swing, standing up lordically. You notice when he turns, it's kind of end block turning. It's not a quick turn. So that's one of the hallmarks of Parkinsonism is rigidity and bradykinesia, slow movement. And he has that hallmark, especially with the low voice. They said was a cold hypophonia. A small monotone voice like this over time is a hallmark of Parkinsonism. I could have diagnosed him from across the mall.
Here are some of the symptoms from Parkinson's.
Now, this is sad, and as more time passes, clips like these keep coming out. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of red flags, and people are beginning to notice them at an accelerating rate. Check this out. This happened today.
Well, he also said he's sharpest before 8 p.m. So, say that the Pentagon at some point picks up an incoming nuke. It's 11 p.m. Who do you call? The First Lady?
He has a team that lets him know of any news that is pertinent and important to the American people. He has someone that is decided, obviously, with his National Security Council on who gets to tell him that news.
The top comment on this post says, I'd really like to know who is in charge. We know Biden is not capable of performing the duties of president. Will we ever find out who has been running the country? And again, we're not having this question out of theatrics. We're having it out of genuine curiosity. Like, this is what real American people are wondering. This is what we're experiencing whenever we watch President Biden on our TV, on our phones, and we see this happening in real time. These are genuine questions and curiosities. But for the meantime, it looks like President Biden's strategy is to just brush it all off. He even says, as to wrap up his letter, he says, any weakening of resolve or lack of clarity about the task ahead only helps Trump and hurts us. It is time to come together, move forward as a unified party, and defeat Donald Trump. President Biden, I'm glad that you want people to come together. But people have fears. People have worries. And people have concerns about seeing you in that office. And until you address those people where they are, those concerns aren't going to go anywhere. Anyways, what do you think about all this? Share your perspective, share your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's keep the conversation going there. Are you encouraged by his letter? Do you have a couple questions afterwards? Let me know. Can't wait to read it. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate your time so much, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to support what we're building here, please like and subscribe. It means a lot and it really helps us out. And if you want to see even more content from me, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on there. Thank you so much. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.